oh yeah, they did that Kevin James show,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
garbage.
Nah, it was fine.
It was garbage. Well, I mean, garbage in that it was exactly a goddamn piece of shit sitcom.
And so we feel differently about that answer because we view the show the same way. But to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, another sitcom because I love sitcoms, and
No,
you're just like another bland sitcom.
well,
I find sitcoms as comfort food.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm High Energy Dan.
I am blown away. My face is melting, Dan. This is the energy we need every week. I'm Tony. Welcome back, everybody.
I woke up this morning and I was dead energy Dan, and I said, fuck that, I'm High Energy Dan. So I took a lot of speed and I'm ready to go.
Great.
Yes.
And drug endorsements on the show. This is good.
Amphetamines. No, I didn't take any drugs. I don't take drugs. And I don't drink alcohol. I'm straight edge.
Wow, we have a really boring cast. I don't do either of those things either. I guess I knew that. I knew that you didn't, but I never put it together. That's why people don't watch our show, Dan.
Yeah, we're not.
They're like, we're not going to party with these guys.
You are. If the partying with us is going to get a piece of pie.
Oh yes, pie is so good.
Pie is so good. Yeah. So we are Dan and Tony. We hate watching. We watch movies not for a living, for a hobby. This is another of our hobbies.
One of many.
And each week we watch a movie and then we savagely critique it. And this week we went back to 1995, glorious 1990s, years of excess.
Good year.
For none other than Cutthroat Island. My pick.
Good stuff.
I'd forgotten about this movie. The thing about this movie is, when you hear about it, you're like, oh yeah, that movie came out and everyone hated it, and it killed the pirate movie genre. Not that there was one. And
yeah, I read a couple of reviews, and they mentioned that it was killing the genre. I was like, what other pirate movies were there? What genre? It doesn't even feel. It feels like this is almost a one-off that just didn't work. I don't know.
I would think about that time you might have had Pirates of the Penzance. I think they did a movie, which I also did not see. But yeah, pirate movie, not really a genre that was still rocking it hard in the 90s.
Yeah, like maybe 3 movies, right? If we're being generous. That does not a genre make, sir.
I mean, certainly it was a genre in the 50s. Absolutely.
Back in the Flynn days,
40s and 50s, not a ton of pirate movies, but it was a regular mainstay. And this, we all sort of knew this was like a huge flop. No one I've ever talked to ever talked about this movie. And then, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean comes out, I think 7 years later. I think it was 2002. And
sure, I'll Google it while you're talking.
And it just is an incredibly good movie.
Yeah.
I was watching this movie, and then about halfway through, it was so painful and so horrible, I just had to stop, and I said, okay, I'm going to go on to Disney Plus, and I'm going to put on Pirates of the Caribbean, which I have not seen the original one in a long time, and I'm going to say to myself, am I just critical asshole Dan when I come on this show, and I watch a thing, and I'm like, I will pick everything apart. So instead, I will watch Pirates of the Caribbean, and I watch the first half an hour, 40 minutes. Movie is perfect.
Yeah.
And if we would do that movie on the show, we would be like, well, you can kind of say this is sort of and
sure.
And you could say, oh, in this scene we can see what's going to go wrong in movie 2, where they take everything that's happening in movie 1 to excess, and it stops being as much fun.
Yeah.
But god damn it, it's a good movie, and it just shows
it's a perfect blockbuster.
It is a perfect blockbuster, and it just shows you how the perfect blend of character, actual story, actual mood, all can blend into something that is truly a movie that everyone involved in will be proud of. Johnny Depp, of course, went on to be insane, and live as Jack Sparrow 24/7, and it got very disturbing, and we worry about him all the time. So there are some portents and signposts that the things are not going to go well after this movie.
Sure.
But this movie, goddamn, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, goddamn it, what a movie!
Yeah, so good. And I mean, listen, this is just going to be like my general feeling of Cutthroat Island in a nutshell. I'm going to give you like why I hate this movie. The acting from your two leads is dreadful. Two of the most miscast things I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how you got that so wrong. I mean, I do, because there's some stories. But then also like just the script. I know there's not a lot of story, but I don't care if there's not a lot of story. If like your dialogue is funny and witty, it's just, this is some of the worst dialogue I've ever seen in my life, delivered by two of like the most miscast people of all time, and it's so fucking bad. Pirates, on the other hand, everyone is ridiculously charming. They're funny. They're like these fully formed characters, and every line they say, you're like, ha, 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 what a quip. I love it. It's just, it's, ugh.
Yeah, this movie has like 4 or 5 jokes. Like the whole movie has about 4 or 5 jokes, and man, those jokes they just crash and burn so hard.
They're delivered so poorly. So poorly. It's ridiculous. I wrote just a couple down, because I mean, I love a cheesy one-liner. I
Sure.
love it.
Sure.
They put like 2 or 3 in this movie, and they're just dreadful. Just dreadful.
And the character, I mean, you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, and Johnny Depp like goes back and forth between being this like sympathetic character and being a giant asshole pirate. And he just fluidly slips. And in this whole movie, so it's Geena Davis and Matthew Modine, and he's sort of a criminal, and there's sort of double crosses,
Sorta. Not really.
And then at some point, she's like in love with him or something, and you don't even
know.
There's like, at one point she's like, where is he? I've got to save, she's like, I've got to save him. And you're like, what?
Based on what do you care? I don't even know that you had feelings for this man. There is zero chemistry between them throughout the whole movie. I never once thought that they liked each other. Even as like just like individual friends that were just like, I will stand being in your presence for now. I never even got that much from them.
No. And it's so weird, because it's so, like Johnny Depp saves what's her name right at the beginning, near the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Keira Knightley, yep. Elizabeth Swann. She
falls off the thing. He's like, he takes it on himself to go and save her, and then immediately within like 5 minutes of the movie, he's ready to kill her and strangle her to death, gun to her head. Wow, this is push and pull, where these characters, you're like, the whole movie is going to be this push and pull. This movie, they're all like, well, I guess I have to save you now, because there's no reason why I have to do this.
There's nothing else to do at this point, so I guess I'll just do that. I don't know.
And that's every motivation in this movie is, well, we got to keep them doing something.
Yeah.
At the very end, she's fighting with the bad guy up there, and then she falls down, and then they're all sitting on the other ship, and they all just let him do whatever. They could pull out guns and just shoot him.
No, but they're just like, oh no, what happened?
Good luck, Captain. Chivalry amongst the pirates. We're just sitting here. We have nothing to do.
Hey, it's the code.
But
which is to do nothing.
But they don't even say it's the code. Set up the code.
The code in this movie is to just stand around. That's the code. The pirate code, do nothing, just kind of hang back, and then maybe treasure will fall onto your ship.
So this movie, directed by Rennie Harlin. Did you look up what Rennie Harlin did?
I know that he did Die Hard 2.
He did Die Hard 2, which was basically the same formula, and which was 2. 2 was the airport.
2 was the airport, yeah.
Which is really pretty terrible. And
I love the whole series. Well, no, you know what? That's not true, Dan. I do like 1, 2, and 3. 4 is okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. And then like fucking they just went off the deep end.
Oh, and I mean, two's acceptable, but you don't really. It's more of the same. It's like they've.
It's one of those sequels that doesn't build on the original. It just tries to like do the original again.
It's an homage to the original in a different setting, which is fine.
Yeah.
And everyone was fairly happy with it. 3 got very weird.
Well, I mean, we can talk. 3 was written as a Lethal Weapon movie, and
Oh,
then
really?
they didn't want to do that, so then it became a Die Hard movie, and they're like, well, now he needs a sidekick, which is not the Die Hard way. It was like, it's a whole thing. Great stuff.
I never knew that. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
So he did Die Hard 2, then he did Cliffhanger with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Sly.
Sly.
Sly Stallone.
Cliffhanger, unwatchable movie.
Wait, you don't like Cliffhanger? Oh no, Dan.
Do you remember? I remember seeing Cliffhanger, and I was like, "It's going to be this fun action movie." And then you get in there, and it's people on the cheapest sets known to man, hanging off of plastic mountains, and like it's just so stupid.
Nah, Cliffhanger's great. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I feel confident that it's still a grade A movie.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
So good.
When they're on these sets trying to act cold on a plastic mountain.
Remember Vertical Limit? Speaking of people acting cold on a fake mountain, Vertical Limit with Chris O'Donnell. Also not great.
I mean, I remember the name. I do not remember the movie.
Yeah.
So
right. Anyhow, moving on.
Then they gave him Cutthroat Island because they're like, Cliffhanger made all this money, and this movie, one of the biggest flops of all time, brought in $10 million on $125 million. Just a mess. And then he kind of was put in jail, and then he did Deep Blue Sea, the mutated shark movie, which is a super fun movie.
Love that movie. LL Cool J.
LL Cool J is amazing. Super Hot Girl's amazing. And the sharks
Thomas
are amazing.
Jane. Yeah. Jane I love fun. Deep Blue Sea. What a fun
that's
movie.
A movie that is a good summer blockbuster with all the quippy jokes and some great, nice set pieces. Who doesn't forget them being in the room and the sharks swimming around and they're hiding on the cabinet?
Yeah.
Good scene.
Great stuff.
And Samuel L. Jackson's death, one of the greatest death scene surprises in any movie. So the dude learned from this stupid movie that you shouldn't make a stupid movie with bad set pieces.
Well, I mean, here's the thing is like, did they not realize that this movie was like a campy pirate movie? Because that's what it seems like it should have been to me. But like they didn't write it as such, but like big action, stupid dialogue, like it should have been more fun than it was.
Yes, and that's it. It exists in this place between being an actual straight up adventure action movie and being a campy, fun, playful movie. It's neither. It fails at everything. It fails at all of them. And when you do not understand what your tone is, I mean, a lot of it is Geena Davis being just beyond terrible. This is what she does.
Dan.
Her panting makes me want to smack her. I'm just like, just deliver a fucking line. And
Dan, it's still leagues better than her laugh in the movie, which is the craziest fucking laugh I've ever heard in my life. It only happens twice, I think, in the movie, but it's like, ha ha ha! Just the craziest thing. She's dreadful in this movie. Absolutely dreadful. What else did she do? I know she was in A League of Her Own, right? She won an Oscar for something, I think, right?
Thelma and Louise, maybe.
I don't know. Is she bad? I want to go back and do like a full Geena Davis watch through and see where she fell apart. Because at some point she must have forgot how to act.
It might just be that she, and whatchamacallit, it was Thelma and Louise, it's Susan Sarandon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's a good actor. Maybe Geena Davis standing next to Susan Sarandon seems like a good actor back at Thelma and Louise, and everybody after that thought she was a decent. I mean, she's good she's actually really good in League of Her Own. She's great.
I remember
movie.
that too, but now I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got rose-tinted glasses and she's dreadful in that movie. I don't know.
No, I just rewatched a fair amount of that movie in the last
Did
year.
you? Okay.
She's great, and that movie's great.
Okay.
Great script, great characters,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
she plays the standoffish, strict, authoritarian type character, as
Yeah, I
opposed
can
to
see that.
this, where you're like she has to exude leadership, and she doesn't exude leadership for like 1 second in this movie. Well, they don't.
Not at all. I'd never believe that people would follow her. Ever.
No.
But I also don't believe that she can do any of the stunts. Like, she's like awkward and she never feels athletic when she's doing these things. I didn't believe any of it. Not a single second did I believe her in this movie. And that, I don't know, it bumps me out.
Yeah. So we start off, she just screwed this random dude for what reason we have no idea. In what situation we have no idea. And then he's like, I know you're the pirate, and stop. And then she's like, I know you knew I was the pirate, and I took the bullets out of your gun. I took
This is the first
balls.
joke.
Your first joke of the movie.
See, I took your balls, and she delivers it so poorly that it's not funny. And I had to sit there for a second. I was like, oh, wait, did she just say I took your balls? That's kind of funny. And then I rewound it and I was like, oh, no, it's not funny. Never mind. I was wrong.
Well, it's a joke.
It's a joke, but it's not delivered well. And so then it's not funny.
It is not
and
funny.
It was that moment where I was like, uh-oh, this isn't going to go well at all.
And so we start the movie with a situation where she has no stakes. We have no understanding why she's there with characters that we never see again for a reason that has nothing to do with the plot, except to deliver one bad joke.
Yeah.
And to set up that she's a pirate. So then her buddies tell her something's happening on this other ship, and they race to the other ship just in time to see her father get killed by his brother because of a map that he wants for some reason.
They drop him into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then she is holding on to him, but he's got a big brick on him, right? He's got like something that's supposed to make him sink.
Yeah.
How did she know in the time that it takes for someone to fall over a ship and then just fall to how does she know that's her dad? Like, I didn't know it was her dad. I was very shocked. It was all very confusing. But yeah, he's got a map. He's got a map to a treasure. Well, part of a map.
So somehow she drags him good mile in
so far away. How did she do that, Dan? They're underwater. She cuts the thing, and there's a big ship. And then suddenly she's so far away dragging a body that they have to bring in a different ship. And I was like, how does she do that? She is the best swimmer I've ever seen.
Freaking Aquaman.
So good.
So the dad is like, I'm gonna die, but shave my head. He doesn't say the map is there, even though we all know the map is on his head.
Yes.
And find Uncle Mordecai, because he has part 2 of the map. And then we realize the guy on the ship, Frank Langella, who, once again, a great actor who's just like screaming at the moon.
Just awful in this movie. So bad. So bad.
Ah! So
breaks my heart.
So he's like, shave my head. Okay.
Now, when this happened, did you expect in like 5 minutes for her to then just be holding his scalp? Because I did not. I thought that she was going to shave the head and then maybe write it down on a piece of parchment or something. But she fucking cuts her dad's scalp off and then just brings it with her everywhere.
More importantly, unceremoniously brings it with her everywhere. It's like you're carrying around the skin of your dead father who you ostensibly revere, and everybody just picks it up and throws it down, and
they're just messing with it. No one cares about it at all. And I think now, Dan, maybe most importantly, where does she keep this scalp of her father?
She just wads it up in her pocket. I don't know.
Is it a pocket because it looks like it's her vagina, and I know that that's not great, but when she's in the
What is
cart,
she talking about? She stuffs it up in her vagina? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, because in the cart she lifts up her skirt and is playing in her belt, and it's supposed to be like this weird thing with her and Matthew Modine. She goes into her underpants and pulls out her dad's scalp, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? I don't understand what's going on, but it's not okay. Sorry.
I'm not going to posit if she keeps her dad's scalp in her vagina, Tony. You know,
I think it scarred me for life.
I'm just assuming, because I think a lot of clothes in the past didn't necessarily have a lot of pockets. That's why you have
believe that.
pouches. I think you put stuff in little pouches and then tie them on your belt.
Okay. Maybe that's what she did then. Maybe.
Then we meet Matthew Modine's character, who is a thief, and he's at a rich place, and he steals a bunch of stuff and then is caught instantly.
So here's the thing, Dan. He needs to be very charming and like clever, and he's just like not. He just comes across as like kind of a dumb idiot. Like an affable idiot. You know, he seems very nice. But he's not like his clever lines never land. They're not delivered like quippy. They're just kind of like, hey, da, 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 da.
At one point, they go to break him out of prison because he's the only one that knows Latin, which of course they talk about that he speaks Latin. There's no one on the planet that has ever, in our time, spoken Latin.
Yeah.
It is not. It is a written language. It is not a spoken
language too.
It is a dead language. If you learn Latin, you never speak it you never do sentences. Everything's written.
Sure.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Did he even know Latin? Was there even Latin on the thing?
So no, right? Because it turns out that the shit's just backwards. She does it in the knife and it's just real words backwards. So then everyone can read it, right? I got a little confused because I know that he spoke a little Latin in the cage, in the jail cell. Sort of. Enough where the other guy was like, because maybe he recognizes the sounds. I don't know. Very dumb. But then everything's just backwards. So they never needed Latin. But then at the end of the movie, when they're hanging up the thing, he's like, I regret knowing Latin or some shit. And I was like, but you never used it. What is it? I don't know, man.
And you were not even sure if he knew Latin. Because
nobody was sure.
So
there's no way to check it. You can't fact check it, Dan, because nobody else knows it. This guy could just be speaking gibberish.
And I think at no other point in this movie does he exhibit any skill other than like he pulls the shot out of her side, but then he's like, but I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, not a doctor. The whole shot thing is also very confusing to me. I don't know, man. Here's a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Why isn't this Cary Elwes? Is that how you say his name?
Elwes, yeah.
Elwes. Why isn't this him? They look almost identical.
Because they just, and that's another thing is it'd be interesting to see look up what year Princess Bride came out, because
it was late 80s.
Late 80s.
I'll look it up for sure.
This, his whole character is sort of
87.
87. So this is 95. 8 years later, he's doing the Princess Bride. And
like a terrible impression. It's when I try to do impressions and everyone's like, what the fuck are you even doing? I can't point it out. That's what it feels like.
It's just like Tony was doing this acting.
Just like I could have been in this movie. It would have been just as bad.
You'd have been the book dude.
Oh, and he's terrible. What's going on in this movie?
We're gonna talk about the book dude at some point. So he's just terrible. So now we get to Morgan getting drunk on her dad's pirate ship, which she got to somehow. We don't even know how she's there or why she's there or why she's getting drunk or why they let her back on or what her role there is, even though he said go and take charge of them, which should have been point one. Why is she getting drunk? I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense.
Maybe she's mourning the death of her father, who she then scalped. Maybe. I don't know. But also, I don't think that Geena Davis has ever been drunk in her life, because she can't act drunk at all. Not even a little bit.
It's really terrible. So she goes upstairs and then takes charge of the ship.
And then is suddenly not drunk. Like she's like stumbling over words and like almost hiccupy drunk, like and then she's upstairs. She's like, "All right, men, let's do this." I fucking
And so they
So
do a
bad.
whole thing, and she throws a thing into a thing, and you don't understand. And she lays out that there's this map in 3 pieces, and that she has to get the 3 pieces. So, very classic movie thing. Follow the puzzle pieces, and we will be resolved. Whatever. It's a dumb convention, but movies are built on
But
dumb
it works.
conventions.
I mean, it works. We go along for those rides when the ride is fun. Like, I don't care if I know where point A and B are, if getting there is fun. Life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. But this journey sucks.
Journey sucks hard. So they're like, "Hey, Tattoo Face, you decide." And Tattoo Face is like, "Let me think about it. Okay, we'll do it."
Who is Tattoo Face? Is he like the second in command? What's that called on a ship? I don't remember. First mate?
I believe he was the quartermaster. Which,
And that would be...
typically, I believe the quartermaster is the guy that's in charge of the food.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. You've solved it.
That's all I got for you, Tony. In charge of the food. I believe the quartermaster's like in charge of the stocks and what you have on the ship. That's I may be wrong.
So let's let him make all the decisions. That makes perfect sense.
So they go to Port Royal. They meet Carrie Elways in the jail. He does this weird Latin thing. We're not sure what's happening. And then he's being sold in the slave market. And this one guy who just took an inkling to disliking him wants to pay lots of money so he could be horrible to him.
Sure, classic slave thing. Now, Dan, I'm trying to do this as delicately as possible, but I have a question about slavery. That's
Thanks,
I can't
Tony.
even.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, were men sold into slavery to women for pleasure? Because that's the line in this movie is like, if you're buying him just for pleasure, I'll do it for free, which is a horribly creepy line. But is that a thing that would happen?
I mean, if you really want to talk about how things were, it seems incredibly unlikely that women would even have the right to own slaves.
I had a similar thought.
Women probably at that point, I mean, if it's under British law, they probably can't own property, and slaves are property.
Okay.
So chances are, if we're talking about the truth of the matter, I could be wrong, but women couldn't own anything. Even here in America, for some, to some extent. So
I was just thinking that, if I were to be sold into slavery, and I was sold,
you want a sexy lady to own you? Is that what you're saying, Tony? I would love the sexiest lady in the world to own me, and just for pleasure. Okay, Tony.
She doesn't even need to be that attractive, Dan. I just think comparatively between being a slave or a love slave, I just feel that one probably isn't that bad.
Yeah, Tony, if you're choosing your slave position, love slave or...
I know you don't get to choose. I understand that. It's not like which path do you want to take? I'm just saying.
Tony.
Geena Davis can own me. That's all I'm saying. If she wanted to.
If she was... Okay, well, this conversation is over. So she goes over there, and the other guy that's bidding against her, she sort of sticks a knife up to him. I thought she stabbed him. I thought she was going to kill him.
She for sure stabbed him. They made the sound even. There was I think she did. I think she stabbed him straight up.
This movie would have been a lot funnier if she'd stabbed him to death and was like, "I win."
Just kill and be like, "I guess there's no more competition."
So, yes. And then then of course she gets recognized. She goes to pay for him. Then she gets recognized off this little tiny poster. Someone's like, "Hey, that's her," which is so weird. And then
whoever drew it was really good.
we start with the big first action set piece of the movie, and boy,
Is this the town chase?
this is the town chase. So
Okay.
so they've got him. They got to get to they got to get to the next town, because the next town is where her uncle is.
Who has the other part of the
That's
map?
map part two of three.
Now,
of three.
quick question on the map part 2. Is that the wooden piece, or is that the second scalp that I don't remember her getting?
It's the wooden piece.
Okay.
Yes, the third piece is
at the end of the movie, when she's putting the 3 things together, she definitely has 2 scalps, right? Am I crazy?
I don't know that the other one's a scalp, but it's a little piece of paper. Yeah.
So one of them's on parchment. Okay, so one makes sense. One of them's disgusting, and then one of them's a piece of wood. Got it.
It's probably not parchment. It's probably it's probably a tanned skin, because you wouldn't want to put it on paper if you want it to last. No.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
How silly of me.
So we get it's a big carriage chase. They go up a thing, and they jump down a scaffolding, and there's like this one thing where all the scaffolds break, and it's the worst. Everyone is cut like the same, and you watch it, and it's so painful.
When they go up the rope thing, when they cut the thing and go up the rope thing, it moves at maybe 3 miles per hour. It goes so slow. They're definitely shot to death. Like, there's no way that you guys missed that shot. They're going so slow. And then if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean, I think pirates stole a couple of things from this movie, which I think is a brilliant move.
I would not doubt that they watched this movie and said, "This movie's shit. Let's do some of this stuff, but do it really amazing."
But like, show you that it doesn't suck inherently. It's just done poorly, because they do the same thing where he like shoots up the thing and he's swinging around, and it's fun. It's brilliant. Like,
everybody's shooting at him, and you're like, "This is why they're missing, because he's
going fast and around in a circle instead of just like going very slowly up a thing. Like, hello.
And eventually they catch him. It's just great.
Yep.
Put him in jail until the next plot point happens, when the ghost ship comes and starts firing. Beautiful.
Great stuff.
Just beautiful.
Great stuff.
In Pirates, when the coin goes in the water and you get that pulse, and we cut to the 2 guys on the thing, and they were like, "What was that?" It was just like, part of you was like, "Did that really happen?" And then they affirmed that it happened. And you just like, oh my God, what? It's a moment that you were like,
gold calls to us.
There's something going on. In this movie, there's nothing going on. So we have this carriage ride, and at one point, he is riding full speed underneath this thing with 4 horses or 6 horses. She jumps out onto a roof, runs through the thing, falls down 7 times, and is slowed down 7 times, 100 times, falls asleep for half an hour, and then still comes out the other window and is ahead.
But what I will say is that tumble into the carriage, pretty cool. At the end of that, when she jumps out the window and like does a somersault and lands in the carriage, I don't even know how they did that, but it was pretty cool.
I mean, if you'd have staged the stunts and everything properly, I was watching something where they showed the chase scene from Point Break.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. When you just stage a scene like that properly, and this scene could have easily been staged very properly, where you believe that she could keep up with the horses, but you can't have her fall down and like stop and have like literally complete stop.
Because, I mean, they cut away from the carriage, right? It's here, and then she's up there. The carriage has only gone about 10 feet. I would say, like 10, 15 feet, and she has somehow ran the timing of it makes 0 sense.
And all you do is you just and that's the whole thing of this movie, they never really make anybody competent. And that's the whole thing about movies, is you make your heroes competent. Because that's what we want to see in a hero. We don't want to see her fall down and then have to get herself up and brush off some flour. No, we want to see her jump through a hoop and do a thing and do a parkour.
Yeah. That's what's so brilliant about, again, not to keep bringing it back to Pirates of the Caribbean, but like, it's the good version of this movie. But the brilliant thing about Jack Sparrow is he seems he's incompetent, and yet he's not.
He is not. He
And
is
it's brilliant.
well, and that's the whole thing is with the scene with the thing. He swings around and does a thing and does a thing, and then he gets captured again.
Yeah.
We show competency and a level of incompetency at the same time, and we see who his character is.
Yeah.
He is incredibly skilled, but he screws everything up in the end.
Yeah, but he's also a little bit of a bonehead, and he's great.
Okay, so now let's talk about the book dude. So book dude is a writer who lives on the ship, and like they're like, we need you. He's like, nope, I gotta go see about some books, but like in a really weird schlubby way. I gotta go see about some books. And
his character is so weird in this movie, and he sometimes like laughs and smiles in very inappropriate like places that don't make any sense, and I'm like, who's making those acting choices? What is that based on? And it never seems like a human being is behind the book man.
And if one point they were to like say, and Charles is a child molester, and he would like do a little laugh, and you'd be like, he's a child molester.
Yep, definitely for sure.
So weird.
It's so weird. And he's not a bad actor either. Like, I don't understand how all these competent people just suddenly seem like the worst actors of all time.
And it's an interesting character, a super interesting character. He could have been on the board and be, when his betrayal happens, you'd have been like, oh, this is a great betrayal because we thought he was your friend, but he betrays. They screw all that up. So they're there to try to get to Mordecai. Mordecai's got lots of guards, so she dressed in a slutty outfit. One of the few enjoyable things about the movie is it's a good slutty outfit for her. She looks good in it.
Is this? I don't even remember what we're talking about. Is this when she dresses up as the prostitute?
Yeah, slutty.
Because she sees a prostitute. And, and
so she's able to sneak into the guy that's super defended as a prostitute. I think she has a gun with her too.
It's on her leg, yeah. And they're like, he's like, search her, and they like, grope her breasts in a very gross way, and then he like goes to the thigh, and she's like, oh, that's not free. I don't know.
Yeah, that would stop them because
this guy, I don't know.
So she goes in there, and they decide to team up. So they come out, and of course, what's his name's people are there too, and we have another big weird fight.
Yeah.
And then captured. So everybody gets captured, and there's a big fight, and they're going to torture somebody by eel. I like that. I like torturing somebody by eel.
The eels were kind of scary.
They were.
I'll say that. I was like, ugh, I don't want to get bit by that. And it's like when it was close to someone's face, it was like fucking drooling everywhere. I was like, no, thank you.
That was nice. So big fight. She gets shot. What's his name figures out where the map is because it's part of the bottom of a barrel that was hit.
It's the eel barrel, I think, because the eels all explode, and then that's where it is. Because no one's gonna, go to the bottom of an eel barrel.
You're not gonna stick your hand in the eel barrel. Who would do that except a madman?
Crazy people.
So they somehow just run away and get a big giant explosion. The whole building explodes. They run away and get away somehow.
Yeah.
She knows he has the map. And she lets him get back on the boat and hide the map before she tries to get the map from him.
Yep.
She has complete control over him from this entire point, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So she could have just said, search him for the map. And it's a big, gigantic piece of wood. And they'd have pulled the map off.
It's huge. Where do you hide it? I don't know.
He hid it once he was back on the boat.
Okay.
But... because she asks him that because it's a bad plot point.
Right. So they cleared it up.
So they get back to the boat. She does lots of heavy breathing. She doctors her, and then they're pumping each other for information, and then there's sexy music. Then there's map bargaining, and he denies the map. Yeah. And then does he give her the map? I guess we bargained this out, and he decides to give her the map.
Didn't they like come up with like a trade? I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Something dumb. I don't know. I don't remember.
They figured it out. They're like, oh, this is where the map tells us to go. So they go there, and suddenly there's the world's biggest storm ever, and the bad guy's chasing them, and he's gonna like cut in front ahead of them, and it's like weird. Oh no! She catches him. He then sneaks back into her place with his
To
part of
get
the
the
map,
map.
and then she catches him because we know whatever, and then Book Guy is betraying them.
Yes. Yep.
And then they decide to go straight into the storm, and the ship explodes. And then there's a mutiny, and they throw them all off the boat. And then Matthew Modine's character just jumps in the ocean, and we don't know what happens to him. Is that what happens? I wasn't paying that much attention at this point.
I don't even know at this point.
I just assumed he got on the boat with them, but he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah, that's true.
So somehow they row to the island, and he swims in the middle of this storm.
Maybe he rode a dolphin.
Dolphin. So then it's morning, and they just look over, and lo and behold, there's Cutthroat Island.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end.
Did this make you angry, Tony?
That they found the island? That they were in a storm and then they washed up on shore?
No.
Which part?
That Cutthroat Island is just a stupid island that has nothing other than some hidden treasure.
I was hoping that it would be like a cooler island, or like maybe it's in like the shape of a skull, which would be fun or something. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just like an island, and there's no like mysticism around it, except for like it's not on any map, which is weird.
We name this thing, this evocative thing, Cutthroat Island. No cutthroats live there. There's nothing exciting about it. It's just a stupid fucking island. That made me angry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I can get that. I was so let down by the movie at this point that like nothing was going to make me more angry. I was just like, yeah, that's par for the course with this piece of trash.
So they're on the island, and they need the third piece. And so Frank Langella's like, here's our big plan. Let's go to the island and make a camp and fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, you need to rest, Dan. All right, they've had a busy few days. Okay,
and that's what I love about this movie is they do the classic thing where they're like, we're going to feed you this line that's going to tell you what's going to happen, and then it happens. But because I always complain about that. It's like, just put that one line in there so that what happens next makes sense. This movie actually does this at a number of times, but the things that they do are so nonsensical to make the next nonsensical thing of the movie happen that you're just like, what? This is so stupid.
Yeah. So every time from here on out, Dan, every time you complain that they don't fill in that one line, I'm going to be like, it doesn't work anyhow, Dan. Get over it. We've seen them try. We've seen them fail. Just go to the plot point. I don't even care.
You're just going to say Cutthroat Island. You don't need to do it.
Cutthroat Island, baby.
Keep the movie moving. So somebody steals the map. It turns out to be Matthew Modine, and then he is caught in quicksand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
then
don't know anything about quicksand.
Okay, Tony, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, all right, I'm ready.
Here I am. I'm in quicksand and going to go to my death. And I have a gold bar. No, not even a gold bar.
Yeah.
I mean, does he threaten to like, it's just so stupid because he has no bargaining power and we have another bargaining segment.
But he does have the map, right?
He has the map, but it's like another dumb, it's like I'm going to die, but I'm still going to bargain.
Well, yeah, because he has the map. So, like, if he goes into the quicksand with the map, you're never going to see that again. Where does quicksand go?
Quicksand is like this thing that was a thing when I was a kid that it, like, kills you.
Okay.
And so the idea is you can't get out, but the truth is...
I mean, I got that much.
There's really no such... It doesn't happen. It's bullshit.
Wait, this doesn't exist?
It exists, but it doesn't really kill people. It's just a thing that they made up to sort of put jeopardy into movies. And they put
Sure.
it into all the weird Africa movies because, you want to have Jeopardy that wasn't a tiger because you already used the tiger. You don't want natives. You already
Sure.
used natives.
And tigers are expensive.
Tigers are expensive. Quicksand costs about $1.
You just fill a pit with sand and put someone in it.
More bargaining. So then they have the map. They're like, we go here, we go this way, and then they almost fall off a cliff. And then they're like, I must be down. So then they go down, and then they go there
on ropes that just happen to be exactly the right length because they're at the end of the rope, and they're like, well, look, it's a cave. So dumb. Dumb.
There's so many things that happen. So they go there. Tony, I'm gonna ask you a question. Here you are. You're hiding your treasure somewhere. Where do you put your hidden treasure in the cave?
I would just put it at the cave entrance. Just like, because if you found the cave, then, you deserve it.
You mean
the cave's a cave.
You wouldn't put it down in the cave and then pile it on a little...
No.
In a little mountain in the middle of a lake?
It's so much work to get a 55 pace rope, to climb down, to get in there. It's just like, once you're there, I just want you to have it. Like, good for you. Have a reward. I don't like to hide my treasures.
So they find the money, and then there probably was some more bargaining, and there's lots of fake plastic gems that look just terrible. Yeah. The treasure just looks terrible. And it is such a gigantic fucking pile of treasure. Just an unimaginably large pile of treasure.
I am confused because all they do is come out with like one chest, right?
So what happens is she goes back up to try and find the guys. He's like, I will put the money in so he puts money in a chest. Do you know how much a chest full of gold would weigh if it was that size?
So much. Like, you can't carry it by yourself. Every other movie I've ever seen, there's at least 2 dudes on a gold chest, one on each side, and they're usually ripped. They're usually like the strongest pirates you can find. This guy's just slinging it over his shoulder, going up a rope. Ridiculous.
A brick of gold weighs, I believe, I think it's 25 pounds.
Wow.
So, imagine this much. It'd be like 600 pounds. It would be
it's too much.
An unimaginable weight. And he's carrying it there and putting it on a rope, and you're like, no.
And Modine is wiry AF, okay? This guy doesn't have like a movie star body, all right? He's lanky and he's skinny. He's not lifting nothing.
So,
dude, let's talk about one real quickly in the cave when they're talking about that. And Matthew Modine's like, you go up and I'll pack the treasure up and come. And she's like, okay, but no tricks. That's a line in this movie. Is she's like, okay, but no tricks. Oh, okay. I guess I won't do the tricks that I was planning because you said it so nicely.
He wasn't going to put on his wizard's hat and teleport all the gold to his magic castle.
So dumb.
Like, he doesn't have a boat. He doesn't have an ally. He has nothing to stand on.
One direction he can go without dying, and that's right back to you. That's it.
So he goes up, and then the bad guys are up there, and they've caught her, and she goes down, and then they all just jump. And then he wakes up, and Book Guy's like,
Hold on. Matthew Modine wakes up about 50 to 60 feet from the shore. How did he get all the way over there if he's passed out in the waves? That he is so far inland that you can barely see the horizon of the ocean. It is ridiculous.
I don't know, man. Oh, this movie's just so bad. So the Book Guy's there, and he's like, yes, Geena Davis's character's this way. And then they go over there, and they come over a ridge, and I was actually surprised because the pirate has teamed up with the government dude.
Yeah.
For some reason that I can't understand, because the truth of the matter is the government dude would be like, kill all these pirates and take the treasure for us, right?
100%. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. I don't even know what their allegiance was. Did they say it?
Not really. Just like he's going to be.
Okay, I didn't think so.
He was going to be a privateer for the government, and he was going to get a pardon. But that pardon would mean you get no treasure. It mean this crown is keeping all the treasure, and you work for us now.
Yeah, but he said something about like being the governor of Jamaica or something, right? I think
Somehow he thought he was going to eventually become the governor of Jamaica based on absolutely nothing and no promise that could ever happen in a million years. So Morgan's still alive. She's covered in blood. She sneaks back on the ship. She frees all her people. Her people take over her ship. Then they race up to the other ship and come right aside them. And then both ships stop, frozen, never move another inch in the ocean again.
And that is correct. That's how oceans work, right?
That's exactly how oceans and sails and sailing work. It's once two boats get next to each other, they freeze in the water. They drop anchor and
cancel each other out, Dan. It's a negation. One ship will fly with the wind. Two ships, the wind dies.
The doldrums, never more to move. My ship can't catch the wind because you're catching the wind, but your ship can't catch the wind because I'm catching the wind.
The wind can't transfer the sails, and it just shuts it all down. That's just science.
That's how airplanes work, because the air goes under the thing, and then it goes further, and that causes lift. It's lift, but it's two things working against each other. The science of Cutthroat fucking Island. Oh my God. And then we just have this endless fight amongst all these random characters. And
did you not like this part?
I hate it.
I liked it. I thought it was fine. I was like, you know what? In a movie where I was having fun and I enjoyed these characters, I think this would have been a cool fight.
I agree. And if we got to see things play out that we've been waiting for the whole movie to play out, it could have been fun. Yeah. But there's this whole weird protracted scene where these two bald guys are fighting. And at one point, the one guy sticks his thing in the steering wheel and breaks his arm, and then the kid pokes him in the leg, and then the other pirate then puts him in the steering wheel and crushes his head. And I mean, this is what the movie should, if they wanted it to be this movie, okay, I'm like, make it this bloodthirsty, gory. Yep. There's a lot of blood, and just like make this an R-rated movie of violence, the violence of pirateness. And I would have liked that movie.
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, unless it had the same cast, in which case I probably still wouldn't like it.
Well, let's put it that way. It's a movie that you could make that wouldn't be this movie.
Yes.
And so, oh God, there's another page.
You have a whole nother page?
So the ships shoot each other, then eventually they blow up the one ship. Shaw goes below deck to get the money. She goes below deck to blow up the ship. They release the ships. Then the breaking the arms guy, they're out. Then at one point they say, we're outnumbered, we'll never win. And then they just sort of win.
Yeah, because I think they just miscounted. I think it was fine the whole time.
Then down there, he gives her the let's work together pitch.
I don't even remember. Is this when he's in the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so weird. Like, now you're doing the let's work together pitch? Oh, no. I'm sorry.
He's like, let's be partners.
Her uncle, it's her uncle gives her the let's work together pitch. And I'm just like.
Yes. Yeah, because Matthew Modine gives her the like, let's be 50-50 partners at one point.
Yeah.
This is where he's like, let's band together.
Let's band together. And you're like, what?
No.
I don't understand.
Definitely no.
Well, that goes completely against the whole character that they built for him the entire movie. And
both characters, really.
And he's got like a knife to her throat. And he's like, let's work together. You're like, wait. You
just
pitch
kill her.
That when you're losing. You don't pitch that when you're winning. You're like,
correct.
Now you die.
That is your last ditch effort. Is like, let's become friends with my enemy. It's the only way I'll survive.
So she wants to save William, and then Bad Dog comes down there, and then she shoots him with a cannon. And it is the cornballiest cannon shot thing that's ever been shot.
It's also, that's one of the one-liners from the movie where she's like, bad dog, and then shoots him.
So bad.
And again, I don't even know how you deliver that so wrong that I don't chuckle. That is the kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger garbage that I eat up. Like, oh, the bad dog. It would have cracked me up if it was I don't know, man.
If Arnold said that line, everyone would be doing that line for the rest of their lives.
For the rest, yeah, it would have been iconic. And she just can't deliver a line. She can't do it.
I only have a few movie lines in my brain, but the one is when Arnold Schwarzenegger's holding the weird guy over the cliff, and he says to the guy, Arnie, or whatever his name is, I told you I would kill you last. And he lets him go, I lied.
So good.
Greatest line in any movie of all time. So stupid, so wonderful, so surprising. And that's, the canon was surprising. And that line, if Arnold had said "bad dog," we'd have lost our minds and thought it was the greatest thing. And then when
instead, it just like falls totally flat.
And then when he crashes through like every window and then out the thing, we'd have been like, "This is the greatest death scene ever." But this movie made it so you could not enjoy the stupidity of that shot.
And that is the thing that offends me the most, because I love stupid movies. I love them. And if you can't do it right, I hate you.
If you're so stupid that your stupid movie isn't properly stupid, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're the worst. Ugh.
Oh, so she goes and saves him. They escape. The ship blows up. They got the money. And we get this whole scene where she's like...
Hold on. This is the part that I'm confused at, Dan. They brought one chest, right? Matthew Modine had one chest. And then in the ship, I still only saw one chest. And then she ties the barrel to the one chest. The barrel comes up, and then we cut to the end of the movie, and all of the fucking jewels are on the boat again.
Okay, I can explain that. They actually...
Thank you.
They did do the Dan Goodsell give us the line that explains what happens. So
okay,
and that's
please
the
tell
thing
me.
Is this movie actually proves my Dan Goodsell point, because I understand what they were going for and why everything happened. The things are illogical and insane, but they did give us the line so that you understand how they have treasure on the end. What it is that barrel that comes up is a marker barrel. She tied a marker barrel to the pile of money that was all chained together so that she would know exactly where it was down below, and then they would salvage it slowly with using hooks and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, it's feasible.
So this is weeks later is what you're telling me. Because
weeks later.
All right.
No, I mean, and it would have taken them weeks to pull all that treasure down that thing. That was... They would have to build scaffolding. That would just be so much work. It would be a week's worth of work. Absolutely.
Easy.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Yes. And I mean, at one point they have all these provisions that they're pulling off the island. Watermelons and bananas and coconuts. That would have taken a week to, That's the whole idea is you go to these islands and you resupply.
Yeah.
You get to Hawaii. I mean, why did we discover Hawaii?
For the pineapple.
The breadfruit.
They
were looking for crops from these places that they could use for the slave trade. It's all slave trade shit. Ugh, slave trade. So we get the most interesting thing. We have all this money. And she's like, this is more money than we'll ever see, but we should probably still go and be pirates. And everybody's silent. And they're all like, yeah, we should. And then they're all like, no, we love being with you and being pirates. It's like, no.
100% they split that up and go their own ways. That is the correct ending to this movie, because I don't believe for a second that any of them that are like, let's go back in, Captain.
Okay.
Nope. They all do their own shit and leave.
Living on a ship, being a pirate, doing all that stuff is literally the shittiest job on the planet. Why
do you do it?
Usually why you would do it is because you were conscripted. Because what they would do is they would go into bars and steal people, and then once you're out at sea, they're like, you better work or we'll throw you over and you'll die. And then you're like,
okay, let me rephrase that. In the movies, why do you become a pirate? It's to find treasure. They did it. They did the job. They found the treasure. You're done. You guys, you won the battle. You are the greatest pirates of all time. Now go live your lives.
Go buy, and it's like, and it's almost like the one guy's like, I'd like to be a farmer, and you're like, no, you'd like to be a plantation owner or whatever the equivalent. It's like you could buy whatever you want. And then they do a little thing with the monkey because the monkey was okay, and the movie ends.
I mean, the monkey was cute as shit the whole movie.
The monkey did great. The monkey was one of the best actors in the movie. His little bits were funny. He was very cute.
Which I think is why they have the monkey in Pirates of the Caribbean. They were like, this is the best part of this movie. Let's use him.
Fuck the parrot. Monkey in. So, yes, her acting was just like panting, and as you said, her laugh was the most horrible thing ever. I mean, I don't know that I'd say Modine was as bad because he seemed like the sleazy, weird guy that he was.
Yeah.
It's just a very unappealing, uninteresting character.
Yeah, he's unable to take that character and make him lovable. And that's what you need, is you need that guy that can play the dirty, skeezy guy, but yet still be charming enough that we're like, all right, I'll fuck with you. And he doesn't have that in him. It's too bad.
So now,
can we talk? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Do we have any? I have nothing else to say about this terrible.
I want to talk just about the history because I was saying this to you before the podcast that I think the history surrounding this movie is actually more interesting than the movie itself. And I've got like I don't know what's happening over here, but my whole house is shaking right now.
You have an earthquake?
It's very scary.
Or a bug? Airplane.
I think it's just like a bunch of trucks driving by, like Die Hard 3.
So you're getting Die Hard 3'd.
3. Die Hard 3, baby. Anyhow, we'll just continue and whatever. So I'll try to condense as much as possible, but essentially what happened is Michael Douglas was on board to star in this movie, and then they got the stupid director, Harlan or whatever his name is, and then he brings on Geena Davis, and they're both like, Geena Davis is supposed to be second fiddle to Michael Douglas originally. Then through these two teaming up because they're married and whatever, they beefed up Geena Davis's role. And Michael Douglas is like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm losing my character right now. And I'm not going to play second fiddle because this is supposed to be my movie. And they were like, well, this is the way it's going to be. And Michael Douglas is like, okay, peace. So he leaves the movie, which is then, that's when the movie's lost. Right? Like you lose Michael Douglas, you're pretty much boned. Like if Michael Douglas is in this movie, he can do that character.
Probably.
He would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So while all that's happening, you also have the production company behind the movie who is rapidly going bankrupt. They have little to no money. And they have two movies on the docket. They have this movie, Cutthroat Island, and they have an Arnold Schwarzenegger picture that are both like up to be made. And they're like, we don't have the money to make them both. We have to make a decision. And they chose Cutthroat Island and they canceled the Schwarzenegger movie. They put all of their eggs into this fucking basket. And so then when Michael Douglas leaves, they're like, listen, we have to make this movie. We're too far in. We have to make this movie and it has to make money. So they can't cancel the movie. So they scrambled to find another actor. They can't find another actor. Harlan's off doing casting all during pre-production. There's script changes while he's away. There's like set builds that he hates when he comes on to set. The whole thing falls apart in pre-production. But the company's like, we have to do it. We have to keep going. And then, obviously the movie was made. It was woefully over budget. They had to do like some pre-selling to foreign markets, even to cover the cost of making the movie. And then the whole thing blew up and, that company's dead, that's the company that made like Terminator 2, Judgment Day. So good. If you guys have some time, go on a rabbit hole because there's a lot of information out there about this. And it's fascinating and depressing because those people got fucked.
There's a really interesting movie they made about Terry Gilliam trying to make a what's the Cyrano de Bergerac? Cyrano? No, whoever the guy that runs Man from La Mancha movie.
Okay,
and it's just all about him trying to make the movie and leads getting sick and them having problems. And it's just when you really watch what it takes to get a movie made, It's
Yeah.
insane that these
It's
movies
intense.
ever happen, because there's just so much insurance and this and that and that and that and that and that and that and that. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, the moral of the story is this movie should have not been made. This movie, they should have cut their losses at some point, and they just kept charging ahead. They just never were like, nah, it'll work, guys. It'll work. Don't worry.
And sometimes things come together and are magical, and you get something really interesting. And then sometimes
For sure.
it just,
And you never know until the movie's done and you like see that final cut and you're like, oh no, we blew it, guys. Pack up, everybody, pack up your things. We're out of here.
And there's movies like that female Ghostbusters that, man, everybody knows it's a train wreck, and it gets to the
and then they
theaters,
knock
everyone
it out
agrees.
of the park.
Everyone absolutely agrees. What a piece of garbage.
Home run.
So
good.
many skilled people, and you end up with garbage.
And they're all doing their thing above their level, crushing it. Just all
Eating their
crushing
potato chips, another bit that falls.
Oh my gosh, she's got the Pringles. Still makes me laugh. I love that. I love that gag.
I hate you. So Tony, you get to tell us about something you've been enjoying.
I didn't even think about this. I don't know if I enjoyed anything this week. You know what? I'll promote our own show at work. We're doing a show called Marseille's Money with Marseille Martin. It'll be out in September, I believe. And it's pretty great. It's about teenagers managing money. It's the first thing that I've worked on that I was like, this is actually like important, because they're going over stuff that I don't know about, like taking out loans and talking about like taxes and brackets and like what credit score means. I think it's really great for the younger generation.
There it is.
Self-promotion right there. Yeah.
Tony wants to keep a job. So
I desperately need this job, guys.
I want to watch this Bo Burnham thing and see what the hell that's about.
Oh, the thing where he's like alone, right? Yeah. The new Netflix special. Yeah,
which I know I'm either going to enjoy or hate beyond comprehension.
Or hate, yeah, just hate it so much.
And our buddy Harrison told me about this thing on Hulu called In and of Itself, which is this hour-and-a-half magic show by this guy. I don't know what his name is. And he was saying to me, the magic's great, but there's not a lot of magic, and there's a lot of talking and a lot of other stuff. So I started watching it, and I watched the first 10 minutes, and I wanted to kill myself. And I wanted to go through the screen. I wanted to strangle the guy to death. So I want to watch the rest of that and see what's going on. And it's very performative.
And if you guys don't know, it's Derek Delgadio. That's the guy that Dan wants to murder.
I want to murder him. I immediately started thinking in my head, I want to write a sketch and have Harrison do it that is making fun of this thing, because this thing needs to be made fun of so hard. It's unbelievable how hard this needs to be made fun of. And so I was like, I need a palate cleanser. You know, just like this movie, you had to watch some of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Did you watch some of Pirates of the Caribbean to make yourself feel better?
I watched it on this computer up until you joined the meeting. I got like 20 minutes in.
Because it's just you just need to feel like movie making is a thing that you can enjoy. So in this case,
100%.
I needed to feel like performance art and performative stuff is good. So I turned on Spalding Gray and listened to like 10 minutes of him talking. Spalding Gray is a performance artist. And what's so interesting is this in and of itself thing starts with this whole thing about Russian roulette. Here goes my little dog. Hey, little dog. Hey, come on, you want to be on the show? I want to be on the show because I'm a little dog. I'm a little dog. I'm the cutest thing on the
show. Oh, Bobo.
So it's this whole thing about Russian roulette, and it's just terrible. And Spalding Gray murdered himself. He committed suicide, I believe, with a gun.
Oh boy!
Because of his depressive nature, and so it just made seeing this thing made me think of him, and then I watched him, and he is one of the original sort of '80s performance artists. He would do these things where he would sit at a table and do this whole talk piece where he just tell stories.
Okay,
and it's just beautiful how he weaves in humanity and humor and his own personal idiosyncrasies. And that's what this guy feels like he's trying to do. And in doing it, I hated him so very hardly.
I need to watch this.
Yes, so I'm going to watch the rest of it. And, I may come back next week and it may be my pick, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. I learned so much about myself. Or it may
I don't think
be
so.
I am going to find him and exact my revenge upon him for him doing something
Verbally.
horribly.
A verbal revenge.
Possibly. So yes. So we'll see where I'm at next week with Duty McGoobach and in and of itself.
Duty McGoobach. That's a good character name. I want you to keep that.
But even though we're not supposed to talk about things that we were angry about this week, since I just got burned by this in the last few hours, I'm going to continue. The show starts by saying, please turn off your devices so that you can give basically our show your full attention. And then it goes on to say that this show has been performed 552 times on small stages at New York for the past year or two.
I don't care.
In other words, I'm so cool. Everybody agrees I'm cool. Shut off your phone.
Right.
What I had to say to you, so important.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. I can hold my phone and be working on my TikTok while I watch your piece of shit show.
Oh my
Go
god!
fuck
I have
yourself.
to watch this. I'm excited to see this thing. I'm ready for it.
And if we have to do a very special episode of this show, we might have to do a very special episode of this show.
You know I'm in.
Because something pissed my ass off.
My ass off.
Tony, we got to do a real movie next week, so let's do something.
We are indeed doing a real movie, Dan.
Yeah.
Big blockbuster. Big one. I'm very excited. I don't know if you keep track of A, episodes, or B, calendars. But this next episode for us is number 50.
Oh,
so
really?
that's big and exciting. We're on the big 50.
It could be number 50. I don't believe
it. It is number 50. I've counted our actual tracks. I don't go by my numbering system. I went and counted our actual tracks. It is number 50.
Wait, so have we almost been doing this a year? Did we start last June?
I don't know how many. Is that how many weeks are in a year?
Last I looked, there were 52 weeks in a year.
Great, then we're close. Yeah, I guess we'll have to do like a big year special then at some point. Yeah. I should go back and check when we posted the first episode. Anyhow, so I was like, this needs to be a big celebration. Fireworks, 4th of July, which is also when this is going to be released. It's going to be the release a couple days after 4th of July. I think it's the 7th is the Wednesday.
I suggest we rewatch New Year's Eve.
No, we're not doing that. We are. I will never rewatch New Year's Eve.
Josh Duhamel, yeah, baby.
Poor Josh Duhamel. Did you? His show got canceled.
Not surprisingly.
Oh, that poor guy. He's having a rough go of it.
They're doing another one based on the villains.
But he's not in it, Dan. So I'm not even going to watch it. I hope they make a Buddy Games 2. Josh, if you're hearing this, if you're watching this podcast, make a Buddy Games 2. Cast me in it. We'll have a great time. Anyhow, so the movie we are doing to celebrate 4th of July and the Big 50, Independence Day Resurgence.
What is that?
That's the 2016 sequel to Independence Day. And it is good.
Have you seen it?
I saw it in the theaters opening weekend, and I was like, well, fuck. That's what happens when you don't put Will Smith in your movie, guys. It's not good.
I mean, that's Will Smith's one good movie. So there you go. The original.
Whoa. Wild Wild West? Men in Black? Come on.
Men in Black is a perfect movie.
Men in Black for real, Wild Wild West less for real. But genuinely, Men in Black is a good movie.
Did you actually? I'm going to write down Wild Wild West. We might have to go back
Wild
there.
Wild West.
Oh.
Lawless. So good.
One other thing I was thinking about that we could do is we could watch Gossip Girl and the new Gossip Girl.
And done and done. I'm going to watch it anyhow, so we might as well make a podcast about it. Did you watch the original? You didn't. Of course not. I don't know why I even asked that.
Did you watch the original? Of course you did.
Of course I did.
You're a big fucking girl. Jesus Christ.
Guilty as charged. It was a fun show for a while.
So you're excited about the new one?
I mean, no, I'm not excited at all. I think it's a huge mistake, but I'm going to watch it.
We might have to...
Just like I thought making Beverly Hills 90210, remaking that shit was a bad idea, and I was right. I hated that show.
Wait, I thought you liked it. The weird reboot where they were talking about themselves?
Oh, no. So...
you mean there's a new Beverly Hills 90210 with new people?
There was back in the day. The CW already did it. It ran for a couple seasons, and it was a dreadful show. But you're right. Like, the reboot with the original cast was phenomenal, also canceled. So
it was a very weird show.
It was weird. You're right about that. But I had a good time with it.
Super weird. Well, we might be doing a special Gossip Girl episode. Maybe we will.
I would love that.
Yeah, maybe we will.
I'm in. We could do like a weekly gossip for every episode.
God, just what everybody wants to see at the end.
Two dudes talking about Gossip Girl?
Talking about Gossip Girl.
Two old dudes watching a teen drama. That's what people want to see.
Oh, that's pathetic. Okay, so we're going to Independence Day Resurgence or something?
Yes, sir.
I'm excited.
I can't believe you haven't seen it. You should be excited. It's great.
I don't believe I saw it. I probably read about it and was like, oh, yeah, I'm not watching this shit. Do they have a bus?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the right call.
Is there a school bus in it?
What? I don't know.
Don't you remember Judd Hirsch in the school bus at the end of the original Independence Day? It's my favorite part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. No, I don't think that there is. I mean, there might be. I can't tell you much of what happens in it. I don't remember. But I remember walking out
so angry,
pretty upset. Yeah.
Demanding a popcorn refund. You fuckers, give me back my money for my popcorn. Fuckers.
It's good.
Well, this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. We'll be back next week with another episode. If you like what you see, leave a comment, leave a check mark, leave a subscribe, leave your money at the door, leave your shoes outside, because we don't want your dirty feet. No, we do want your dirty feet everywhere. We don't want your dirty shoes everywhere.
I don't want you to track in mud, you animals.
Don't be a bunch of animals. Yeah, animals. I've been Dan.
I've been Tony.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!